Hey, Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm back with a kind of like a nostalgia video, and this is like places I remember as a kid, that I like shopping at. And why I say I like shopping at, a lot of times it was like whatever was bought for me by my mom and dad. Sometimes they'd go there, and I just look, and they wouldn't give us anything. Or like my grandmother, who was notoriously cheap. She'd take us to, my sister remembers this too. She'd take us to the mall. We go looking for toys and stuff. We wouldn't get anything. She said, Grammy doesn't have any money. And I mean, at one time at the mall, Grammy gave us $1. I remember buying a 3 pack of comics. Um, I can't remember. It was from that the Sid and Marty Krofft thing. Those guys that hosted that one show on Saturday morning that had like Magic Mungo and stuff on that. It was about them. And well, she had to pay. Well, it was $1. It was 99 cents. She had to pay sale charge, so that's okay. Grammy doesn't mind doing that. And then my sister got something that was like $3, and they freaked out. I bet my sister remembers that. Or if we went to the mall, I mean that mall, there was something called a kiddie theater, where two kids could sit in there, and you put a quarter in there to play a cartoon. She wouldn't give us money quarter for that, but she'd give us a quarter for the wishing well, which didn't make any sense. The wishing well was just throwing your money away. And I remember one time when I was just there with my grandfather, they had a thing where you see the world's largest crab for a quarter. He gave us a quarter for that, which was really cool. We saw that thing was huge. That was awesome. But aside from that, I mean, we'd go to the mall and we'd just look around, and she wouldn't buy us anything like that or anything. But this is about places I'd love shopping to that I have fond memories of as a kid. And I wanted to talk about and then I'll probably follow up the next day with some places that are closing that I like going to. Um, First of all, I want to talk about Fisher's Big Wheel before I forget. Well, I mean, in Albion, one place in Albion, we used to have like three. There used to be three hardware stores, and then they had the one in Cranesville. And I remember they used to have toys at one hardware store, and I remember getting the toy soldiers. It'd be something like a Russian doll, but for like a soldier thing, they have like all the soldier, and then they have like the soldier be down in smaller sizes than the smaller one. Remember that as a kid? That was cool. They used to have the pharmacy. They still have the Albion Pharmacy. It was really cool at the time. And then they had a couple newsstands. Bus Bright had a newsstand, and they had some really neat magazines and comic books. I wasn't allowed to get a lot of them, but I still thought it was cool to look there. And the Albion Pharmacy, I mean, they still have like a little newsstand there, but it's not like it used to be. I remember I was allowed to get one thing, a Star Wars book, and then Dad was mad it was a poster book. It was just posters. I was allowed to get that, but he said that was a waste of money, so that was about the end of that. But downstairs, they used to have a place where they sold toys, which was really cool. We used to go down and look around. I don't remember if we got anything, but we used to look around. I thought that place was pretty cool. And they don't have the downstairs open anymore. They did, but I don't think they did anymore. They were doing anymore. Another place was in Meadville called Fisher's Big Wheel. I remember going to Meadville. We'd go and there's this big bridge, and you see Fisher's Big Wheel, the logo on there, and that was cool going there. Yeah, I remember we used to go there all the time. I loved it there. It was a discount store, and I think it started closing down in the 90s. I remember going there a couple times after the Army, buying Sid and the Sea Monsters VHS. And some other, they had some movies from Star Video there. I remember buying some of that stuff when I was allowed. I had money. I was allowed to get my own stuff for that. That place was really cool. I think that was a place, a line of department stores that closed down. The D&K store, I remember going there. Now, the one thing my grandmother did go is she went there and she bought they had those little big books. And they had like abridged classics. She used to buy us those because they were used to be 50 cents a piece. So she'd buy us one or two of those. She'd buy one, me and one of my sisters, because my dad said, that's the only reason she buy it for you, because they're cheap. That place was pretty cool. And that was like the little bit like a little boy, and then one page would be a picture with a little title on there, and then the other page would be text. And they had like a bunch of classics and stuff. I remember one night before Christmas, I couldn't sleep all night because I was excited. Christmas Eve, I remember reading one of the books, having the light on, and putting a thing on the door so I wouldn't get yelled at because the light was on. I was reading. I couldn't sleep. And I have like a thing under the door so the parents couldn't see the light. And that was the D&K store was pretty cool. Yeah, I remember whenever we had the Atari 2600, we used to buy all these things, and then they had a whole bunch of them in a big pile for like between $1 to $5. My dad said, "I spent so much money on these, now they're cheap." He was mad. Then there was whenever in school there was a general store behind this one house. And I found, do you have a general store behind your house? I meant to ask this kid. He said, "Yeah." "Why didn't you tell anybody?" I said, "I don't think about it." And I said, "Dad, there's a general store behind this guy's house, real close to where he lives." "Oh, I don't believe you. He's lying. He's lying to you." And I finally, after months, finally made him. I asked him to look. "Look, I ain't doing that. That's stupid. It ain't there. It ain't there." And it was there. "Oh, I didn't know it'd be there." And it was one of the things, you'd run over this hose and they hear the ding, 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 so they know you're there. And we went in there, and they had used to sell Sour Patch Kids. I like getting them. And they sold eggs. My dad started getting eggs there all the time. And he said, "Boy, these eggs are really cheap. If you go in the grocery store, they're like 50 cents more." "What are you saying? Don't say that to him." And then the next time in there, guess what? They raised the prices. And Dad looked at it, gave him a look, and he's like, "Why'd you say they raised the price?" "Well, I didn't think they'd do that." He does that all. He did that all the time when he's, it's crazy. Let's see. I wrote down notes. Uh, Buyers Fair used to be in Fairview, and we used to go there all the time. As a kid, I loved Buyers Fair. It was a great place, and it was there up until like 2001, 2002. And I remember going there all the time. And they used to sell CDs there in the 90s, late 90s. I remember buying Guar's "We Kill Everything" video. And there was an old lady there when I was in the checkout. And she looked at the album. She looked on the other side. And she gave me a dirty look. And said, "I'm sorry, I like metal. I like Guar. It's awesome. Sorry." And, she was really freaked out if she saw that. If I bought Campbell Corpse's "Gallery of Suicide." But I already had that. See, I had that on cassette. But it was the uncut, because sometimes they with Campbell Corpse they have like the censored version, just the censored artwork, and then they have the uncensored version. And it was the uncensored artwork, which was really pretty bad. And she was really freaked out if she saw that one. But I mean, Buyers Fair was a great place. And then, like in '99, I think they had a fire, and then their inventory changed and stuff like that. And it wasn't the same after that, and it closed a few years later. And then they had like a thrift store. It's not there anymore. And they had a bunch of small stores. They had an Asian store in 2014. I used to go to. I like going to when I was. I had my foot was all screwed up from work, and my sister took me there. We went to the one time, but I thought the place was pretty cool. They had a really creepy Hello Kitty keychain. I wish I would have bought it. You press it in, and it has the lights flash going. Ram, ram. It was really creepy. I wish I would have. I wish my sister bought one. I wish I would have bought one. That's my fault. Um, Also McCory's. McCory's was awesome. I remember going in there in the '80s. I had a stare, and you go in there, and they had like a whole decked out with all these posters and stuff. Usually for $1. They had these albums. I remember buying the Kiss Paul Stanley's solo album on it, and then the Peter Criss one. Peter Criss one wasn't very good, but the Paul Stanley one was great. And they had like 8 tracks there. I remember buying a lot of David Bowie 8 tracks for $1 there. One broke, but you know, and that was a great place too. And that was up until I remember going there in the early '90s. They had one in the mall too, and it was pretty cool. I remember that one had like a McCoy slash Kmart had like a coffee place you can have coffee and stuff like there too. That was awesome. And then later that closed down and became a dollar factory in Edinburgh. I used to go to McCoy's in Edinburgh a lot, and they had discount movies on VHS. That's why I bought Utopia. And they had when it closed down, it became a Dollar Factory, which was like a knockoff dollar store. But it didn't. Dollar Factory wasn't very good, and that didn't last that long. But I mean, I think McCoy's lasted till about 2000, and it closed down. Let's see what else. Oh, a place called Cutters in Meadville. Cutters was awesome. All the kids in school talked about Cutters all the time. It was like a novelty store. They had everything in there. I wish I. This is way before the channel started. If I could have, I would have took a camera in there and showed everything. All these novelty items and stuff. It was great. And then they had like a place that was roped off to over under no one under 18 allowed in it, and it had like more of the risque novelty items and stuff like that, but not anything really horrible. But it was really cool. We used to go all the time. I loved it there, and it was like a bunch of small stores. And there's like a wooden walkway you walk down. And now it closed down. I don't know exactly when it closed down. It became like this greenhouse or florist thing. That was Cutters was awesome. I bet you a lot of memories at Cutters. I remember going there, and I might have been in the 2000s too. I remember we bought some plates from bowls for my niece when she was little. Yeah, Cutters was fantastic. See what else we got. Also, a couple other places. There was a place where I was in the army. When I was in Fort Bragg, and the guy told me about it called Coconuts. Coconuts was awesome, and it was kind of like Media Play before Media Play came out. It was a bunch of play that had like different things of music and movies and stuff like that. And I went there a few times. I love the place. That's why I bought like Godzilla vs. Smog Monster and also Devo, the men who made the music there. And then I found there was one around the Mill Creek Mall I didn't know about. And then we drove around it and it was closed. It was out of business already. I don't know how long Coconuts lasted, but Coconuts was fantastic. Speaking of that, Media Play came about in the early 90s. And I love Media Play. That was a place that was my go-to for a while. It was like you had books, T-shirts, books, magazines, cassettes, DVDs, CDs, VHS tapes, and all this other great stuff. And then that closed down. But Media Play was awesome. They said the constant Media Play just didn't work, but I love Media Play. Things, the most things. Like I said, Dollar Tree came about when we used to have. I found about Dollar Tree whenever we didn't have Walmart yet in Edinburgh. But they had one in Mead. We had to go away to Meadville, and they had a Dollar Tree there. My dad, I got it. We stopped in there, and they had some really cool stuff in there. And then there was a Dollar Tree that opened up in Edinburgh next to Walmart. And this is before like they have the Dollar Tree that they all kind of look the same now. But they had really unique stuff in the one in Edinburgh. And they even had sun-dried tomato, a big 6-ounce jar of sun-dried in olive oil for $1. And I used to buy a ton of those. I love sun-dried tomatoes. Now, they're really expensive, but for $1 for a big 6-ounce, that was a great deal. Now that went out of business whenever the guy who owned Walmart raised the prices. A lot of companies left. And now there's a Walmart further down in Edinburgh. But it looks like the same type of Walmart as all the others, but I still love shopping at Walmart. And then there was a dollar store in the Mill Creek Mall called Dollar Blitz. And I found out about that in 2000 when I used to take, usually when I was on vacation, we used to have a dollar theater there. And I planned out taking my niece and nephew out at least on a Saturday, finding out the schedule. This is back before that crappy Fandango, when they used to have like a recording. And you call up and said they have a recording of the movies playing in Showtime. Then you might have to listen to it 2 or 3 times to find out the movies, the ratings, and I could organize like 2 or 3 movies. We'd go to the McDonald's in the Mill Creek Mall, and then there was a Dollar Blitz that had a bunch of really cool stuff you couldn't find out any other dollar place. And then they made way for the food court, and they tore that down along with the McDonald's in there and some other places, and in the Panda Express too. That place was awesome. Also, Ollie's, new place, Ollie's. I actually did a video shopping video at Ollie's. Ollie's is a great discount store. It's still around. It took over for the Farmore that we had there. Ollie's was awesome. It's still there. And then Christmas tree shops, of course. And even talking to my mom says I'm not allowed to go to Christmas tree shops anymore. She's not allowing herself there because she spends all money. Christmas tree shops is amazing. I should do a video in there showing me shopping inside Christmas tree shops sometime. There you have it. These are places I love shopping at, either with a kid. I had a kid, they're no longer there, or a place that's still there that I found fantastic. And there's some other places like Aldi's, Big Lots. Last couple times at Big Lots, Big Lots is still okay. Aldi's is alright, you know what I mean? But those are the places I love shopping. I think I mentioned, I wrote notes, make sure I mention everything. Aldi's. And I want to do a video about places closing. And like I said, Dean Casey was at the West Erie Plaza, and West Erie Plaza used to have all these cool like displays and stuff like that. They had a Rube Goldberg machine for telling time, and all these neat little displays. I love that place there, but I don't know if that's still there though. They're trying to revitalize because a lot of businesses aren't there anymore. The West Erie Plaza. So I hope you like this video, everybody. A place I used to love shopping at as a kid, and play like shopping at now. So until next time, everybody, please, Kim Leach.